I'm Dr. Michelle Deering. Thanks so much for joining me today on our Tea Time Timeout for Moms, where this is intended to be 15 minutes of time, you time, or in mom language, me time, for you to just focus on yourself and share some of your thoughts here in our comment section regarding whatever it is we're talking about today. So I am so glad to be here with you. I had my tea yesterday. Today I have my water. Yesterday evening, after the work day, my husband and one of our daughters went out into our backyard to start clearing out some planting area for a garden. A garden. If you know anything about me, I think I have a green thumb from a distance. I will encourage folks to, do their planting and stuff, but I don't know too much about planting. But my oldest daughter seems to have this really cool knack for just wanting to tend to different types of plants. Anyway, my husband and my oldest were out in the backyard in the garden. So if anyone out there knows anything about gardening, because I desire to actually get my hands dirty, if anyone knows anything about gardening, I would love any advice. Got me thinking as I was watching them out in the backyard. I was like, wow, there's a lot that goes into gardening. And so my fun question today is, not that any of the questions haven't been fun, but my fun question today is, if you could be any vegetable, which vegetable would you be? Leave your comments about that in the chat. I know when I was younger, my favorite vegetable was a cucumber. Don't ask me what it was. I just liked cucumbers. And then somewhere through high school and college, vegetables went off the map. Didn't really like them, didn't really seek to eat them. And then somewhere I got introduced to kale and was like, that was the real cool thing. I just loved its roughness. And then I meandered on back to spinach from the Popeye days. But through all of that, I love tomatoes. Give me a good ripe tomato. I won't put salt on it. I'll actually just eat it plain. So if you could be any vegetable, what would you be? And if you have any tips on what kind of vegetables you think would be a good vegetable now to grow, please give me some tips, because I know my daughter has her thoughts about that. And I'd love to contribute any suggestions. So I'm open to that. But if any of you garden, what vegetable would you be? And if you have any tips on how to fertilize it inexpensively, that would be great. We have about 4 or so flower beds. And as I was watching them this past year, because we've been in our home a year, this past year, the first time we got here, that whole area, oh my God, the weeds and the growth and the whatnot, etc. And so my husband and my daughter went out, cleared it all out, and within, must have been a few weeks, everything grew back. So nothing got cleared away. Well, this time, they were more meticulous about it. And it got me thinking about what it takes to actually get a flower bed ready. You got to check the soil. So they dug up everything. And once they got down to the actual dirt and soil, there was stuff that was there. And they came back in and told me, hey, we noticed that we got to the dirt. But even in the dirt, there were still remnants of roots and things that needed to be sifted away. So it's on our to-do list to somehow make a makeshift type of sifter so they can sift through the dirt and air it out and get the soil healthy to receive the the seeds that they want to put in there. Um, and of course, that got me thinking about mothering because I'm a mother-daughter relationship personal trainer, and my heart is to help moms like yourselves, in your parenting of your children in general, but your daughters specifically. And so it got me thinking, mothering uh, is like making a nice planted box of dirt and soil. To actually get it ready, soil needs to be attended to. We need to attend to the condition of the soil in our daughters' lives. Have you checked in to see how that's going? And it doesn't have to be anything like overt, oh, let's sit down now and have a talk, or how are you doing? How are you feeling? Just observe, just be present and take in what it is that's going on, not just in her heart, which you can usually tell by what's coming out of her mouth, because out of a person's heart, their mouth will speak. Okay, but also take stock of what's going on in the soil of her life, whether it's how's she doing with school, especially um, you know if she's young, you have more purview over what's going on and can see. But if she's older, like college age, teenage age, you know our young students, our young people are going through a lot right now, uh, especially if they're in high school and have been experiencing, like if they're in their junior, senior year, and everything that's going on in the world right now is just everyone's shifting and adjusting. So really just extend some grace as to how they might be feeling and dealing with that stuff. If you have a young daughter who is back home from college, extend a little bit more grace, and get a sense of what's going on in the soil of her life. And then the other thing when you have a garden is you want to extract any weeds. Like I said, my daughter and my husband took out a lot of stuff in the dirt. And even when they did all of that and at the surface it looked cleared, there was stuff still underneath. So just be aware of that. So we have some vegetable-less folks out there. Definitely don't be shy. Make sure that you put in what kind of vegetable you would be if you could be any. I wanted to keep it to vegetables because I don't know how to grow fruit. We're just gonna have a vegetable garden. The other thing you want to do is after you've, attended to the stuff that's underneath the dirt, you want to make sure that you encourage growth with some kind of fertilizer. Now, fertilizer, I do know that we do need that. In my naive way, I believe fertilizer provides certain types of nutrients. One of them, I believe, is nitrogen, that is supposed to help nourish the soil and promote growth. So nitrogen in and of itself might not be something that seems uh, helpful for us to breathe in, okay? But in the soil, it actually can mix. Again, Susan, I'm coming back to the baking thing. It actually can mix in there uh, and provide something that ends up being rather helpful. So encourage growth with fertilizer. And then the other thing is to daily tend to whatever it is that you've planted. So what does it mean to daily tend? Daily tend. Well, I know in the rush of everything, and especially everything that we can balance, that we're trying to balance, um, attending to things on a daily basis is a challenge. Um, I know for myself, sometimes I can lose sight of, okay, have I checked in? Have I paused to notice what's going on um, in the soil of my daughter's lives? Um, so I try to remind myself, let me pause, let me step back and take another look at what's going on. And usually, uh, one of the keys is if you get a baseline of what it is that's going on in your family, like have your family be like the baseline. Okay, are things kind of chugging along, chugging along? And if they are, okay. Then if you notice any kind of hiccup along the way in terms of how a person responds to you, maybe their body language has changed, or maybe a comment coming out of their mouth might be something that's uncharacteristic, or maybe short, or curt, or um, maybe their sighs have gotten louder. The teenage sigh, oh, mom. Okay, maybe it's a little louder, or maybe their usual loud sighs have gotten quieter. Just note any little hiccups or changes, and then find a neutral time to actually check in. And depending on the age of your daughter or the age of your child, um, that's different at each age. If you have questions about that, definitely leave those questions in the comments section. If you miss a day, that's okay. We're all human. If you miss 2 days, we're all human. Sometimes you can miss a week and stuff happens, life happens. But as best you can, just try to just check in. So, gardening. I'm a tomato. What vegetable are you? Definitely leave your comment in the comment section. And thank you so much for joining me here on our Tea Time Time Out for Moms.